the kind of markets that we come from, say the emerging market like India, where technology is it's a huge it plays a huge role in how we educate ourselves. And as engineers, we end up being introverts, right? You pretty much don't communicate. We really talk about being an individual contributor, but at the workplace, at least I believe, there is nothing of a concept called an individual contributor, right? You have to work with people, you have to communicate, you have to talk about your ideas, you've got to go and influence people. So therefore, if I were an engineer and a tech professional, which is really what this side of the market is, definitely this book definitely is going to help, and the past books that you have written and the podcasts that you do regularly are going to help. But how do I overcome this? Because many projects fail not just because of the technology not being right, but it's about how you communicate, how you influence people. So is that the right perspective, and how do you really go about preparing for this kind of a complex project that many of the audience that we have handled?
So I want to give you three responses here that address three different issues that you've brought up. So I want to start by this notion of introverts. Introversion refers to how you relate to the world and how you process information. Being introverted does not mean that you cannot be a good communicator. In fact, many introverts are excellent communicators because introverts actually take time to think before they speak. I am exceedingly extroverted. And one of the downsides of being extroverted is sometimes we speak before we think, and we get ourselves into a lot of trouble. So we need introverts. It's an important role in any organization. It's important in any relationship. So this notion that introvert is bad when it comes to communication is not held true in research, and it certainly isn't part of effective organizational design and development. You need people who are thoughtful. You need people who take time to assess their environment, their context, their audience before they speak. And in fact, many of the most successful leadership and managerial skills are often associated with the same types of skills that introverts display. So it's not, I'm introverted, therefore I'm not a good communicator. It means you might communicate differently. Certainly in entrepreneurial organizations, there is often reward to the person who speaks first, speaks loudest, speaks longest, which are antithetical to introverts. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way to succeed. So that's the first thing. Introversion is not bad. It can actually be incredibly helpful. The second part has to do with when you are in an organization, part of a team. You are absolutely right that communication is essential to success. Many people see communication as a necessary evil. And the only way we're going to get this product to market is we got to communicate with people. That sucks, and we got to take that extra time. But in fact, as you rightly pointed out, communication is critical to all success. I teach a class on strategic communication, and in that class, we look at how important, how strategic communication is to effective organizations. So we have to disabuse ourselves of communication being an add-on, a secondary thought, a necessary evil. What that means is it is incumbent on everyone, individual contributors, managers, organizations, to allow time for communication, to comment on the importance of communication, to assess the effectiveness of communication, and to equip people with the skills. And that might be taking classes, reading books, having templates, having tools in place to make it work, to really be successful. Now, some people say that's a lot of extra work, but I would argue for teams that don't have effective communication, you spend a lot of extra time cleaning up the mess or being delayed to market. So it might be that you're spending more time up front, but I would argue that that time is well spent because you save time on the back end. So we actually have to build in the people, the processes, the infrastructure to communicate effectively. So you brought up three different areas, and I agree it's important. I think introversion can be valued, and I think organizations need to build in communication to be successful.